Section 1 of the Letters of Jane Austen. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Elizabeth Klett. The Letters of Jane Austen. Letter 1. Steventon, Thursday, January 16th, 1796. I have just received yours and Mary's letter, and I thank you both, though their contents might have been more agreeable. I do not at all expect to see you on Tuesday, since matters have fallen out so unpleasantly, and if you are not able to return till after that day, it will hardly be possible for us to send for you before Saturday, though for my own part I care so little about the ball that it would be no sacrifice to me to give it up for the sake of seeing you 2 days earlier. We are extremely sorry for poor Eliza's illness. I trust, however, that she has continued to recover since you wrote, and that you will none of you be the worse for your attendance on her. What a good-for-nothing fellow Charles is to bespeak the stockings! I hope he will be too hot all the rest of his life for it. I sent you a letter yesterday to Ibthorp, which I suppose you will not receive at Kintbury. It was not very long, or very witty, and therefore if you never receive it, it does not much signify. I wrote principally to tell you that the Coopers were arrived and in good health. The little boy is very like Dr. Cooper, and the little girl is to resemble Jane, they say. Our party to Ashe to-morrow night will consist of Edward Cooper, James, for a ball is nothing without him, Buller, who is now staying with us, and I. I look forward with great impatience to it, as I rather expect to receive an offer from my friend in the course of the evening. I shall refuse him, however, unless he promises to give away his white coat. I am very much flattered by your commendation of my last letter, for I write only for fame, and without any view to pecuniary emolument. Edward is gone to spend the day with his friend John Lyford, and does not return till to-morrow. Anna is now here. She came up in her chaise to spend the day with her young cousins, but she does not much take to them, or to anything about them, except Caroline's spinning-wheel. I am very glad to find from Mary that Mr. and Mrs. Fowle are pleased with you. I hope you will continue to give satisfaction. How impertinent you are to write to me about Tom, as if I had not opportunities of hearing from him myself. The last letter that I received from him was dated on Friday the 8th, and he told me that if the wind should be favourable on Sunday, which it proved to be, they were to sail from Falmouth on that day. By this time, therefore, they are at Barbadoes, I suppose. The Rivers are still at Manydown, and are to be at Ashe to-morrow. I intended to call on the Miss Biggs yesterday, had the weather been tolerable. Caroline, Anna, and I have just been devouring some cold souse, and it would be difficult to say which enjoyed it most. Tell Mary that I make over Mr. Hartley and all his estate to her for her sole use and benefit in future, and not only him, but all my other admirers into the bargain, wherever she can find them, even the kiss which C. Powlett wanted to give me, as I mean to confine myself in future to Mr. Tom Lefroy, for whom I don't care sixpence. Assure her also, as a last and indubitable proof of Warren's indifference to me, that he actually drew that gentleman's picture for me, and delivered it to me without a sigh. Friday. At length the day is come on which I am to flirt my last with Tom Lefroy, and when you receive this, it will be over. My tears flow as I write at the melancholy idea. William Chute called here yesterday. I wonder what he means by being so civil. There is a report that Tom is going to be married to a Lichfield lass. John Lyford and his sister bring Edward home to-day, dine with us, and we shall all go together to Ashe. I understand that we are to draw for partners. I shall be extremely impatient to hear from you again, that I may know how Eliza is, and when you are to return. With best love, etc., I am affectionately yours, J. Austen. To Miss Austen, the Reverend Mr. Fowle's, Kintbury, Newbury. Letter 2. Cork Street, Tuesday morn, August 1796. My dear Cassandra, here I am once more in this scene of dissipation and vice, and I begin already to find my morals corrupted. We reached Staines yesterday, I do not know when, without suffering so much from the heat as I had hoped to do. We set off again this morning at 7 o'clock, and had a very pleasant drive, as the morning was cloudy and perfectly cool. I came all the way in the chaise from Hertford Bridge. Edward and Frank are both gone out to seek their fortunes. The latter is to return soon, and help us seek ours. The former we shall never see again. We are to be at Astley's to-night, which I am glad of. Edward has heard from Henry this morning. He has not been at the races at all, unless his driving Miss Pearson over to Rowling one day can be so called. We shall find him there on Thursday. I hope you are all alive after our melancholy parting yesterday, and that you pursued your intended avocation with success. God bless you. I must leave off, for we are going out. Yours very affectionately, J. Austen. Everybody's love. Letter 3. Rowling, Monday, September 5th. My dear Cassandra, I shall be extremely anxious to hear the event of your ball, and shall hope to receive so long and minute an account of every particular that I shall be tired of reading it. Let me know how many, besides their 14 selves and Mr. and Mrs. Wright, Michael will contrive to place about their coach, and how many of the gentlemen, musicians, and waiters he will have persuaded to come in their shooting jackets. I hope John Lovett's accident will not prevent his attending the ball, as you will otherwise be obliged to dance with Mr. Tincton the whole evening. Let me know how J. Harwood deports himself without the Miss Biggs, and which of the Marys will carry the day with my brother James. We were at a ball on Saturday, I assure you. We dined at Goodnestone, and in the evening danced 2 country dances and the boulangerie. I opened the ball with Edward Bridges. The other couples were Lewis Cage and Harriet, Frank and Louisa, Fanny and George. Elizabeth played 1 country dance, Lady Bridges the other, which she made Henry dance with her, and Miss Finch played the boulangerie. In reading over the last 3 or 4 lines, I am aware of my having expressed myself in so doubtful a manner that if I did not tell you to the contrary, you might imagine it was Lady Bridges who made Henry dance with her at the same time that she was playing, which, if not impossible, must appear a very improbable event to you. But it was Elizabeth who danced. We supped there, and walked home at night under the shade of 2 umbrellas. To-day the Goodnestone party begins to disperse and spread itself abroad. Mr. and Mrs. Cage and George repair to Hythe. Lady Waltham, Miss Bridges, and Miss Mary Finch to Dover, for the health of the 2 former. I have never seen Marianne at all. On Thursday Mr. and Mrs. Bridges return to Danbury. Miss Harriet Hales accompanies them to London on her way to Dorsetshire. Farmer Claringbould died this morning, and I fancy Edward means to get some of his farm, if he can cheat Sir Brooke enough in the agreement. We have just got some venison from Godmersham, which the 2 Mr. Harveys are to dine on to-morrow, and on Friday or Saturday the Goodnestone people are to finish their scraps. Henry went away on Friday, as he purposed, without fail. You will hear from him soon, I imagine, as he talked of writing to Steventon shortly. Mr. Richard Harvey is going to be married, but as it is a great secret, and only known to half the neighbourhood, you must not mention it. The lady's name is Musgrave. I am in great distress. I cannot determine whether I shall give Rishi half a guinea or only 5 shillings when I go away. Counsel me, amiable Miss Austen, and tell me which will be the most. We walked Frank last night to Crixhall Rough, and he appeared much edified. Little Edward was breeched yesterday for good and all, and was whipped into the bargain. Pray remember me to everybody who does not inquire after me. Those who do, remember me without bidding. Give my love to Mary Harrison, and tell her I wish, whenever she is attached to a young man, some respectable Dr. Marchmont may keep them apart for 5 volumes. End of Section 1.